Ordinary middle school girls usually occupy their time by going to the mall, painting their nails, talking about crushes, and doing homework. I suppose I was ordinary once. I had a fun group of friends, and we did all of those exciting things. Until my last year of middle school, everything changed. I was sitting in class passing notes to my best friend Maryanne when everyone suddenly went silent. I looked up and saw the most gorgeous creature I had ever seen in my life. "Good morning, students. My name is Mr. Scott. I'm your new geography teacher for the year," he said. I sat in awe. I would get to look at this man at least 3 times a week? Wow. I felt like my heart had grown wings and was about to flutter away. He went around the class and asked everyone to introduce themselves. When he got to me, my thoughts were so muddled up that I only managed to mumble some nonsense. "Me, Jenna, geography fun?" I said. Everyone burst out laughing, and he shot me a cute, shy smile. He likes me too, I thought. I mean, if he didn't, why would he smile at me? I was determined that he would be mine somehow. I was going to do whatever it took. At first, I tried to send him simple hints. Every time we submitted an assignment, I'd cover it with hearts. I also left anonymous treats on his desk. Cookies, brownies, pens, apples, you name it. Every day I managed to find something different. I knew the answers to all of his questions in class and ensured that I topped every single exam. It set me apart from the rest of the class, and I figured that if I could become his favorite student, it was one step closer to achieving my goal. I kept imagining the day he'd finally say, "Jenna, you're perfect. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." I would constantly daydream about that. "Jenna, you've got to stop," my best friend Maryanne said to me one afternoon while we were walking home from school. My head was in the clouds as usual. "Stop what?" I replied. "Your feelings towards Mr. Scott are just wrong. He's a teacher. He's much older than you. He'll never be interested in you the way you're interested in him. Besides, what's wrong with the boys at our school? You've changed so much and it worries me," she said. "They're gross and immature. Mr. Scott is handsome, intelligent, and perfect. I think you're just jealous that I'm his favorite," I said. Maryanne rolled her eyes and changed the topic. I started to think that she was a bit right, though. I had changed. I wasn't interested in hanging out with my friends anymore. During my free time, I did nothing but obsess over Mr. Scott. I avoided sleepovers, trips to the mall, and I even quit tennis. I love tennis, but not more than dreamy, perfect Mr. Scott. The saddest day of my life was the last day of middle school. I realized that I would be separated from my future husband because I'd be starting high school after summer. I wonder if I can find a way to stay here for one more year, I thought. But no, everyone would think I was stupid. I've got to find another way, I decided. I spent the summer stalking his Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I managed to bump into him a few times accidentally, but every time I returned home, I still felt the sinking feeling that I would be separated from him. Well, the summer zoomed by, and before I knew it, I was at high school surrounded by new, unfamiliar faces. At least Maryanne was there. Regardless, I was having the worst day ever. Firstly, I was late for school and ended up bumping into the most popular girl, causing her phone to fall on the ground and break. Great, my social life here is ruined already, I thought. I tried to make things right, but she was upset and all of her friends jeered at me. Then I got lost on my way to math class. I ended up arriving late and the horrible teacher gave me a detention. So I sat in my class during the last period of the day with a sad expression on my face, expecting the worst. "Aw, cheer up, Jenna," Maryanne said. "Tomorrow will probably be better." "No, everything sucks here," I sulked. Little did I know that everything was about to stop sucking because suddenly he walked in. I was flabbergasted. Was I dreaming? "Maryanne, pinch me," I whispered. "No, Jenna, you're not dreaming. That really is Mr. Scott," she said. "Good afternoon, class. Some of you are my past students, and you might be surprised to see me here. I've been assigned to this school for the next 4 years. Please get out your textbooks," he said. He looked at me and winked. "Oh my gosh, he came to teach here just to be with me. I know it," I thought. I blushed and smiled. I could not contain my happiness. Everything awful that happened earlier had been erased from my memory. Weeks later, my popularity began to improve. Lots of guys would ask for my number or ask to hang out, but I'd turn all of them down. I couldn't allow myself to be seen with them anyway. What would Mr. Scott think? As time went by, I continued stalking him on social media, and I'd often bump into him on the weekends. His favorite sport was basketball, and he'd go to a court in the neighborhood to shoot a few hoops with whoever was there. He'd go there every Saturday, so I'd go there too and just sit on the benches watching. The first few times, he just waved and smiled at me. However, one afternoon he spoke. "Hey, Jenna, how come you're always here? Are you waiting for someone?" he asked. No, I just like it here." I smiled. "Oh, well, okay. You're welcome to play then. It must be boring just sitting there all alone," he said. I tried, but I embarrassed myself miserably. I was horrible at sports. "Oh, don't worry, Jenna. You can't be perfect at everything." He winked. My heart fluttered again. Was he flirting? I thought. "Anyway, I have to go," he said and sped off. This was the beginning of my disappointments with Mr. Scott. Every time I felt that we were about to get closer, he made some excuse to leave. The years passed, and I had gotten nowhere close to achieving my goal with him. In my final year of high school, I decided that I would need to be more assertive. I made up my mind to stay back after class after everyone had left, so I could reveal my true feelings to him. I walked up to him shyly. "Hey, can I talk to you about something?" I said. "Sure, Jenna. What's up? By the way, great job on that last quiz. You'd make a fine geologist someday," he replied. I wasted no time getting straight to the point. "I'm in love with you, and I know you feel the same way about me. I know it's not completely acceptable because you're a teacher and I'm a student, but I'm getting out of high school next year. We can be together then. You're the only person I've ever had feelings for, and I will never feel this way about anyone else." I spilled it all out, and I even surprised myself. His face went completely blank. "You should leave," he said. I was heartbroken. I spilled my heart and soul out to the one I loved, and he just asked me to leave. That night, I cried myself to sleep. The next day, I found out I had been removed from his class. I was devastated, but I decided I wasn't going to give up. I ignored him for a few days until I devised a new plan. I was stalking him on Instagram one night when I noticed that he tagged himself at a nearby restaurant. I decided that I'd go there and try to talk to him calmly. Maybe he would be less mean and uncomfortable if we were out of the school environment. I got dressed quickly and snuck out of my house. When I got to the restaurant, I saw him sitting there alone. I quietly walked in and sat next to him. "Hi," I said. "Oh my gosh, Jenna, what are you doing here?" he asked. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for coming across so strongly. Maybe you just want to take your time, and I understand that," I said. "Listen, Jenna, I do not feel the same way you do. It's not only insane, but it's extremely inappropriate. Do your parents know where you are? You need to leave." He began to raise his voice. Suddenly, a woman appeared behind him. "Honey, the baby keeps kicking," she said. "Is that your sister?" I asked. "No, Jenna, this is my girlfriend, Leah. She's the love of my life, and we're getting married soon. She's 8 months pregnant. I'm going to be a dad," he replied. He stood up and hugged her. I got up and screamed. "What the hell? How could you get another woman pregnant? You know that we are destined for each other, and you impregnated this cow?" The woman looked at Mr. Scott strangely. "Who is this crazy person?" she said to him. "How dare you call me crazy? He is the love of my life, and you've just come to interfere with everything. You will never succeed. He will be mine," I screamed. I picked up 2 glasses and smashed them on the floor, then I stormed outside. Everyone looked on in horror. By the time I got home, the video of the entire encounter was already online. My phone rang. "Jenna, are you crazy? Why did you do that?" It was Maryanne. "Did you know he had a girlfriend? She's pregnant. How could he do this to me?" I cried. "For years, I've been trying to tell you that this is a bad idea. Can you please calm down and decide to move on with your life? There are many other cute guys who are interested in you, but you keep pushing them away in pursuit of this impossible love story," she said. "You never support my dreams. I hate you," I said, and I hung up. The next week, my parents were called to my school. We all had to sit with the principal to discuss my conduct. "Are you aware that your daughter has been stalking a teacher?" he said. "We've raised our daughter better than that. You're making this up," my mom replied. "Yes, she's at the top of most of her classes. She's a star student. What are you talking about?" My dad added. "Well, if you don't believe me, I'll just have to show you," the principal said as he handed them his cell phone. There I was, smashing glasses and threatening a pregnant woman. My parents were so shocked that they couldn't move. "I'm very sorry, but we will no longer be able to keep her at this school. In other words, she has been expelled. I also recommend immediate counseling as I believe she is facing some serious issues," said the principal. We walked out of the office solemnly. The next week, my parents sent me off to a strict boarding school for girls, all the way in Switzerland. I cried and pleaded with them to change their minds, but they would not listen. I had already embarrassed them enough, and they believed I had to face the consequences. There was no hope. I tried to talk to Maryanne again, but she wanted nothing to do with me. Trying to get my crush to love me only resulted in me being sent miles away from him. I was crushed. Not only that I would probably never see him again, but that another woman was going to enjoy a happy life with him. They would be starting a beautiful family, and I would be stuck here, all alone.